Episode of Memories of Us. Today we got George Brooks here, and he has an amazing story. You guys, man, you guys are going to enjoy this. I was talking with George earlier, and I tell you, man, I'm inspired. I am very inspired by this man's journey and the work that he's doing right now. So, without further ado, George, how you doing today, man?
I'm blessed today. I hope everybody out there is doing well, but like I said, I'm blessed.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, tell us where you're from, man.
I'm originally from, well, I currently reside in Dallas, Texas, but I'm
Mhm.
originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
Awesome, awesome. Now we was talking earlier, man, and your story, like I said, is so amazing. Share your story with us. Tell us how you got to doing the work that you're doing right now.
Okay. I grew up in a two-parent household, which I'm blessed to say that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even though my parents' relationship was tumultuous at times, I think that I gained something from that. So about age 7, I noticed that I processed emotions a little bit differently from what was considered normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty aware that I had a mental illness at an early age. And I was blessed in the sense that my parents were different from what at the time was the typical uh, Black norm of not getting help for mental health or emotional issues. So I first saw a psychiatrist about age 9. So the way I was coping with having a mental illness at that age was that I had an eating disorder. I was a binge eater. So with my mental health issues, I was compounded with morbid obesity at an early age, which started about age 9.
Right.
So in the 8th grade, I weighed about 300 pounds. And with that, came with a bunch of the bullying and ridicule uh, at school and public all the time. Comments about my weight from strangers, and they developed low self-esteem with depression, with the mental health issues. Then actually at home, my father was pretty vicious as far as his ridicule of me for my weight. Later on in life, when I had my first son, our relationship totally changed. We had a great relationship. My father turned out to be a great father, probably the greatest grandfather I've ever seen. But early on in my life, he was, it was not good. That trauma and compounded with my mental health issues lasted all of my adolescence. And my family was subject to periods of poverty, uh, pretty rough poverty. So all that
Yeah.
with just the growing pains of being a teenager and being a Black male and living in a city that was not run very well, with a poor education system that
Mm-hmm.
was not equipped to deal with a child with a mental illness.
That's true.
I ended up dropping out of school, getting my GED, going on to college, getting my degree, um, dealing with all of that. So that carried on to my early 20s.
Yeah.
I ended up getting married about age 23. Uh, you know, Still carrying all that baggage, and it led to me not being what I should have been for my spouse. I don't think either one of us was really ready for marriage at that time. So after 16 years, we divorced. But we were blessed with the birth of our son, and it was a pretty traumatic divorce. And at that time, I was going through severe custody battles with my oldest son from a previous relationship, and he was diagnosed with bipolar at age 7. So I was dealing with my own diagnosis of bipolar, my own unstable marriage, custody issues, you know, poor health. I'd had gastric bypass surgery and lost 150 pounds,
Right.
but my diabetes and heart failure kicked in.
Mm.
And I was going through custody battles with both sons at the same time. And the mother of my oldest son was making things as difficult as possible, as was my ex-wife.
Mm.
And I was dealing with a cocaine addiction at that time that I was trying to get off of. So I had all that going on at one time. I hit rock bottom, and the first thing I had to do was be accountable. I decided to start my own recovery. So I got off the cocaine, cold turkey, which was very difficult in a house that was cold and alone. I had to basically learn how to walk again. My health had degraded to the point where I could not stand. Um, that took about 6 months of me just being alone. I had to read. I had to read things like The Art of War by Masashi Miyamoto,
Yes, I
uh,
love that book.
The Art of War by Sun Tzu,
Sun
uh,
Tzu.
The
Yeah.
Richest Man of Babylon. I
Yeah.
had to retrain myself physically, mentally. I had to look up to see the gutter. And I did it the hard way. And I did the right way. And in doing so, I had a friend from a previous job that I reached out to, and we were just friends. But she would come to the house every other day because my wife had left. So I was in the house alone
Mm-hmm.
and just check on me every 4 or 5 days because she knew about my addiction, but she gave me room to recover on my own.
Yeah.
And she's now my fiance, Stephanie. And she helped me so much because she said, you know, do this, do the little things, then progress slowly. And they helped me so much in my recovery because I had to do it on my own. And that's why I preach about accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you doing it. No one can do it for you. And here's the thing about recovery. You can't do it for your kids. You can't do it for your wife. You can't do it for your mother. You have to do it for yourself because those people can let you down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put something as critical and as crucial as your recovery on someone else, you're putting it on something that's not going to sustain you. You have to do it for yourself. And you have to get to the point where you're sick of living like you're living. That's the only thing that can save you. And in that, I discovered my relationship with God, my own spirituality.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to advocate, God for everyone because everyone has to have their own belief.
Exactly. Yes.
That's one thing that a lot of people that find faith in God don't respect. You have to respect everybody's belief.
Right.
Even the atheist, it has the right to feel how they feel. But for me, my relationship is with God. And I realized then that in my journey to my relationship with God, and I will emphasize my, because that's an individual thing,
Yes, it
is
is.
that in the past, people were trying to drag me to God in their way, drag me to church, drag me here. You have to build that relationship organically in time. So don't put so much pressure on people to faith. Let them find it on their own because faith has to be tested to be real.
Mm-mm. You froze up on me. Oh, there you are.
All right.
You froze
So,
up a little bit there. No, that was getting good. Yes. And I love that you said that. You said a couple things that
but like
uh
I said,
yeah, no, the accountability part, right? You know what I'm saying? And not pushing certain, because I've done the recovery groups. Well, I tried recovery. Well, let's say that. I went to recovery
right.
groups and I sat there and it didn't work for me, right? So I went to a couple sessions. I was just like, yeah, this is not for me. And I had to figure it out for the most part, like
Yeah.
yourself. It was like I'm gonna have to fight this demon. That was a hard fight, man.
It is because the thing is about recovery is that a lot of times people try to force recovery, and they should try to prompt someone to get help. But the thing is, it's not going to take until that person is ready for it. And
Exactly. Yeah.
what's the reason? You can court order or mandate recovery for someone, but if they're not ready to truly make that change, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's very
So,
good.
you can't, the reason why a lot of times I push so hard is because people tell me you have to do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old airplane example of when the mask come down.
Yeah,
They tell you if you have a child, put the mask on yourself first, because if you pass out, you can't help your child.
exactly.
And some people may say, well, that's a selfish mentality. Yes, it is. Because
Recovery is selfish.
yeah, if I don't fortify myself, my nonprofit Meta Association won't run.
There you go. There you
And
go.
and a lot of times, people forget that that's part of being a caretaker is self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with my mental health, I have a diagnosis of bipolar, PTSD, and dissociative disorder. If I don't take my medication and do my therapy, I can't do the things I do, which benefit people.
Right.
So we have to take care of ourselves, especially as Black men. And we don't take care of ourselves. We don't take care of our mental health. We don't take care of our physical health. We don't take care of our emotional, mental, and spiritual health. And that's why our communities are floundering like they are.
Yes.
That's why we don't really sustain ourselves economically like we should and we could and we will if we take action, take care of ourselves, address our mental health issues, address our emotional issues, address the trauma, and say that it's real. Don't act like we don't need mental health.
Exactly.
Don't act like don't run from therapy. It doesn't make you weak. What makes you weak is not dealing with the things that bother you. And evidently, we all have issues that bother us because look at our communities.
Well,
We have households led by women.
this is true.
That's not valid. That's
That
not
is
the
true.
natural. Yeah, that's not the natural order.
Well,
It's not.
a lot of times, man, you know, coming from these households and everything, we're most Black men don't get taught this. Most men in general don't get taught that. But being Black and growing up in poverty, you know, you kind of just accept things for the norm, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is the favorite quote. It is what it is, you know. It's been like this since
And to say it is what it is such a weak defeatist mentality.
It
Make
is
it what it should be. Stop saying it is what it is and take accountability and make it what it should be.
Yes, because it's
Man,
like you're accepting
yeah.
you're accepting your fate, right? You know what I'm saying? And the problem is that we don't see too many people come out of poverty because we end up getting stuck. We don't see too many people, and the people that we do see, right? You know, we aspire to be basketball players or football players or anything or things like that. And I'm like, hey, inspire to be an engineer. If you enjoy drawing, you know what I'm saying, and inspired to be an artist, if you enjoy whatever you enjoy doing, focus on that, right? Yeah. And go all in and see where it takes you. Even if it don't take you in that direction, it's going to put you closer to where you need to be.
And basically stop making excuses because you don't do it.
Exactly. I used to be that guy. Look, man, I used to be that guy. I used to make excuses why I didn't do this. Every opportunity that I've ever had to not do the things that I was doing, I did totally the opposite. I made totally opposite choice, right? And it's because on the other side, even though I dreamed about the success, I was so afraid of it that I would sabotage it.
Self-sabotage.
Yes, self-sabotage. I would relationships, right? Oh, you toxic relationships, just like yourself, having to go through custody battles with my son. And the girl I was with, man, I'm glad we was never married. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Nothing against her. She was my best teacher. She told me everything that I didn't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I appreciated that, right? Because at first I didn't know what I wanted, right? Nor did I know what I didn't want. So after that, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So she taught me to look out for certain things, you know, when it came down to women, but also accountability. Not everything was their fault.
Exactly.
Not everything was their fault.
Yeah,
you know?
and that was the first part of really trying to deal with my traumatic divorce, was that I had to realize I was responsible for a lot of the reason why my marriage failed.
Yeah.
I've apologized to my ex-wife for my part in why it failed, and she took accountability for her part, and I can say this: she's an awesome mother, and we're actually friends. She's an awesome mother, awesome co-parent. So, I've dealt with that part, and that's part of dealing with your mental health, is dealing with that trauma. Because my parents did not, when I got married, my parents couldn't get in a photo with me because they refused to take a picture together, and that stuck with me. And I said, I don't want to have that relationship because I don't want my son to feel that.
Yeah.
I never want my son to be in a position where he's at a graduation and he has to pick which parent comes. We can both go.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool for my son. But we had to work at it. I had to work on myself. That's part of being accountable. And that's what us as Black men need to do. We need to stop having these relationships with women, however we procreated with them, we did, where it's toxic, and put our kids in the middle. Exactly. Because my nonprofit Meta Association has gotten into a relationship with one of my son's former schools where we're developing a co-parenting program to teach this.
Wow. tell me a little bit more about the Meta Association.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, when I moved to Dallas 4 years ago, I quit smoking for the moment at the time and started a nonprofit called Meta Association. Now, people ask me all the time what meta means. That's METTA. Meta is a Buddhist term for meaning inclusion because I would include everyone. Even though I focus primarily on Black male mental health, because I think Black men need advocates.
Yes.
We need somebody championing for us, and that's what I do. I
Mhm.
do help anyone that calls me. I don't care your race, political orientation, sexual orientation, I will help you.
Mhm.
But meta means inclusion. And we basically have three objectives, three primary objectives. That's to advocate for Black male mental health and healing. We also fight recidivism because many individuals that are incarcerated have mental health issues, just the
Mhm.
trauma of being incarcerated.
Yes.
And we want to advocate for them getting adequate mental health care while incarcerated and therapy when they're released so they can have a better chance of succeeding. They already don't have resources that are really beneficial when they're released, and we expect them to be successful. So
Mhm.
let's get them therapy when they get out so they can better reintegrate into society and have a better chance of success.
Right.
And we also advocate for Black fatherhood and fatherhood in general. We feel that the Black father is the most ostracized demographic in the world, that we are underrated, underappreciated.
Mhm.
And I advocate for Black fatherhood in the sense that I've been through those custody battles. I've been through all of it twice. I've been through the court battles. I've been through the
Hey man,
drive
I
two or
can
three states over
understand.
to pick up your son. I've
Yeah,
been all of that, the custodial interference to the T. So
man,
I'm
them
very
custody
passionate.
battles ain't no joke,
I
man.
ain't no joke. So
They whew, the
and
one
I
I
ain't,
was in 2.5 years with my
yeah,
son, trying to
I've been,
just to try to get visitation, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh my God.
and
Oh,
then the thing is that the stereotype of us not being involved is really not necessarily true from my experience because
right, no.
every guy I know has fought for their kids.
Mm-hmm. And it's the courts.
Yes,
I work with I do a fatherhood program out here as well.
right.
Out here in
And I'm doing,
Colorado.
and actually, my nonprofit is about to start a fatherhood Actually, let me say this: about a week ago, my nonprofit has started a Facebook online support group called Meta Men's Mentality,
Okay.
and it is for men that are going through custody, divorce, baby mama drama, all that. So it's Meta Men's Mentality on Facebook. So it's a new support group. I just set it up. I don't know how to slip my mind. I just set it up
No
this week,
worries.
and we're going to start an online support group. So you can reach us there. Meta Men's Mentality on Facebook. I just started it up for men that are going through this. We're a brotherhood. We support each other. Please sign up. I don't care what you've been through. Anything remotely associated with what we're talking about, because we have to support each other so we can heal, because we have to deal with the women that are working with us and those that we have to deal with. And
Yeah,
we have to keep our children in mind. We have to collaborate and heal that way. The children aren't affected by it.
right. Yes.
Yeah, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if she is ridiculing you or talking down to you to the children. The children know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We have to work and we have to be better for the children. This is what
Yes.
this is all about. And it's also about healing us. We
Yes.
can't we can't worry about her. She can either heal or not heal. Okay.
Exactly.
We can only control how we respond. We don't need to react. We need to respond. And
I
that's
love
what this
that.
group is about. So please sign up.
Yeah. Oh no, I got you. I got your information written down. What
All right.
I'm going to be putting it across Facebook and everything. I know that we're
Thank you.
connected, so you'll see that. And if you have anything that you want to give me to support it, throw across mine, I'll put it across mine
Right.
as well, because that is what very well needed, man. And thank you for the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
The mental health. Like I said, we just did a panel on this Saturday, and we talked about mental health, but we talked about it from a grieving aspect, right? How does it affect? And honestly, when I try to tell people this, like, your mental health has so many strong similarities that if you watch the next person and watch how they start healing, at least you can have a little bit of a blueprint. Now, it's going to be customized to you
Right.
because, like we talked about before, this is the time when you're thinking about your mental health, when you think about your recovery, it is so selfish. And
Right.
people should not be ashamed of that, right? You know, be selfish with it, because in the end, that selfishness that you're doing is going to benefit everyone else. Right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
going to, yeah, it's going to give them hope. Especially, you know, like we've seen people do that. We've struggled with our own addictions, man. And coming out of it, we've probably had people look at you and go, wow, how did you do that? Right.
Right.
And it was like when you share it with them, like, this is what I did. You can share those tools with them. And I think that is such a amazing blessing,
Right.
when you can have those tools to give to people and watch them start walking, you know?
Right. And
So,
I'm glad you brought up the grieving process, because when you're in recovery, you will grieve, because you will
yeah.
lose relationships with people that you love, because you won't be the same person when
Mm-mm,
you recover.
mm-mm,
Um, and you may lose people that are close to you, because those relationships will change. Because a lot of times when you are in the throes of addiction,
yeah.
many of your relationships are codependent. And
Mm-hmm,
they're not just codependent because you use that person to get your drugs. They also use you as a way to fill some void in them. If they're
right.
supplying the drugs to you, you may have a sister that knows you're using and gives you money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That may fill some void in her, and you may get off the drugs and you may get confident. You may not need that person anymore, and that may trigger something. It's going to be a weird process.
Oh, it's pretty
I'm
right.
estranged from my family now,
Yeah. You know, I
and
just
I
now
grieve for
started,
that.
but I just now started having a relationship with my sister
Yeah,
after almost 30 years, right?
right,
But because I realized, you know, when she grew up in Virginia, and I pretty much raised myself out here, and so there was a lot of things that we didn't know. Hell, I didn't even know about mental health or any of that. Most of that stuff I learned within like the last 3 years, because no one ever taught me, right?
right.
And going through the process of the losses, just like you said, it began to just, it was like a book. Someone opened up a book throughout all of
Yeah,
that tragedy and trauma and all of these things. It was like I had gotten to a point and all of these ideas started coming, right?
right.
Questions. It was like someone opened up a book and I was reading something that was already there.
Yeah,
And I went, I don't know if I'm going crazy, right? So I started I started going to like little groups and everything just to hear them talk and everything. And I was going, wow, so you mean telling me I've already thought I can cross this off, right? And so I would do that. But also I was doing research to see how many resources out there was for men
yeah.
in general, you know? And I think that's
Uh,
why I just told myself, I said, you know what? This is an unfair battle. And now, and then once I started looking at the statistics about men, the male rate suicide and homelessness and addiction and things like that, I started putting it all together and I was going, this is why we don't have the information.
right,
It's right here. We're not reading it right, you know? So, and just like yourself, it was like, I wanted to help the men go through the trauma, but I wanted them to get help with their addiction. So men's, you know, the recovery, and then start working on that trauma layers.
right.
Those, like you said, the mental health. Most, yeah, man, why is it that anytime people mention mental health, especially men, most men run? They don't think that they have, you know, like most men are like, oh no, I'm not, I'm okay.
You know why? Because in the black culture, it's never been understood.
Yes.
It's always been ridiculed. We all have that relative that we know have issues, but we pretty much do like the white folks and lock them away.
Yeah.
You know, they got their room at the end of the hallway in Big Mama house, and we just, we kind of just, okay, they got issues, or we see somebody walking down the street talking to themselves, and we just figure they the crackhead, but we don't know they're schizophrenic because we don't take the time to address mental health.
Yeah.
And see, after the pandemic, people with no diagnosis start wondering, man, I don't feel right in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now this stuff real.
Mm.
And now we starting to see folks getting blasted in the streets every day. It's a mental health thing.
Exactly.
And
Well, it's
see that,
trauma.
yeah, that's
It's
the
trauma
problem.
on top of trauma on top of trauma. I
Problem.
mean, when the last time that you talked to a young black male in the projects that hadn't seen someone get killed, right?
No,
Or had not had run-ins with other people and almost lost their lives, right? You know,
you're
like
not gonna see it.
it's a battlefield out there. And I be trying to tell people these kids, they're growing up different.
We black men are messed up.
No.
I'm just gonna,
I
I'm
love
just gonna tell the truth. We are.
it.
We all screwed up. We
Man,
all
we
screwed up
are.
in the head.
We are.
Some of us that kind of got it together, but we got a lot of work to do. We
Yeah.
got a lot of work and we need to get to it. You know, if for no other reason, it's keeping us broke.
This is very, very true. This is very, very true. And it's keeping us in bad toxic relationships as well.
Right.
Because when you're living in a toxic area, everything seems normal.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems normal. And you know, until we can get outside of there and, like you said, start getting the help that we do need, you know, because coming from a former gangbanger, I do suffer with PTSD.
Right.
And I never knew that before. I was like, oh, this stuff don't bother me. Yeah, until you wake up in the middle of the night thinking somebody ready to kick in your door, right?
Right.
Trust issues. And I love that you said that you pretty much had to figure it out. And I can relate to that because the trust issues and everything that I had, it would, like I said, it wasn't nobody else's fault. I self-sabotaged. I destroyed every relationship I was ever in, for the most part, because I didn't trust them. You know, I didn't trust them. I didn't know how to communicate what I was feeling because I didn't want people to judge me because they thought I was weak or something like that. You know, you gotta
exactly.
uphold,
and that's we have, you know, and one thing is that when you say mental health, you know, the one thing that and I'm just gonna speak about black folks because I had to clean my house before I clean my neighbor's house. So I got to deal with who I am and my people. As black folks, we neglect the health part, and we need to start treating mental health like we treat cancer. You know, you can people still laugh at people with mental health problems, but you laugh somebody with cancer. And then the thing is, as black folks, we don't want to take medication. But would you tell somebody with cancer don't take chemo? Would you tell somebody with diabetes don't take insulin? We're not even using common sense when it comes to mental health. We just don't. And it's keeping us broke, it's keeping us in toxic relationships, it's messing our kids up, it's keeping us in rotten neighborhoods, it's keeping us with a messed up way of thinking. Just talking honestly.
Yeah.
And we need just to start being honest and real about our situation. Our mental health is keeping us black folks messed up and at the bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it is what it is.
It's true. It's very, very true. You know, most of the time it just turns violent when you because people don't understand. It's always these right here. You know, oh, you got to be disrespecting me or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not disrespecting
that
you.
aggression that aggression that we have. You know what that is? That's a broken heart.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's hurt. It's trauma. It's a broken heart.
Oh my God.
Why are we so angry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are some of us so quick to kill and hurt and backstab and be crabs in a barrel? We gotta cut that out. We don't have it ain't no white man out to get us. We getting ourselves.
Yeah. We just, but you know what? It sounds good to point the finger at someone.
Yeah, right? That's not taking accountability.
Exactly. It sounds good. It's got to be the white man keeping us. It got to be the white man oppressing us and things like that.
It's you.
Exactly. It is you. So you young black men out there that are listening to this right now, listen to what he's saying. He's telling the truth. Even if it hurts, take accountability. It is you. Right.
I got a friend, Damon Curry Morris in Memphis, that's run for Memphis City Council. He says all the time, the truth is not designed to make you feel good.
No.
It's you, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's that whole accountability thing, right? No one wants to do the thing that makes them feel like, I'm going to say this, makes them feel like shit.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Or if it does make them feel like shit, we put on a fake smile and pretend that everything is okay. And that needs to stop. Stop putting the fake smile on. No one, look, the COVID already unveiled all of this.
Yeah.
So now that we know what we're dealing with, let's work and deal with it, right? You know?
Yeah, and the thing is, stop sitting up there whining about what some woman doing to you. Stop whining about your mama. Stop whining about the white man. Stop whining about your supervisor. Stop whining in general and get the skill. I got to say this: get off your ass and do something.
Get the
It's
work
you.
in, man.
Put the
Get that
work in.
work in. Yes, get that work in, man, because it's important. And that's something that I try to implement with the men that I talk with. I'm like, hey, healing is hard. You
Yeah,
know, whatever you're going through, you still got to heal from.
yeah,
And once they realize how difficult it is, some men actually back off and they're like, I'm not ready for this because it's unveiling. It's
yeah.
unveiling. Like you have to
It's hard.
walk in.
And it's hard. And even though I'm kind of being a little, about
Mhm.
it, it's hard. It is hard, and I know it's hard, but you got
Yeah.
to do it. What? Just take that first step. You got to jump out there, and I swear it'll be easy, but you have to put the work in, and it'll be the best feeling you ever had because you did it on your own. The opportunities that I'm blessed to have been given is because I got up and started. That's all you have to do. Start it. Put the
Mhm.
work in. Put the love in. Put that effort in. Become the best you can be. Work on your mental health. On those things that are holding you back. Work on those things that you know hurt you. If a woman hurts you, man, get in therapy and deal with it. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
if you suffering because you didn't have a dad coming up and you didn't have a kind of relationship, deal with it. Talk to the man. One thing I advocate for black men that didn't have the father or didn't have the relationship they wanted, you better go to that man and talk to him.
Hmm.
Even if you don't get the response you want, even if that man refuses to talk to you, you better go make that effort and talk to that man before he passes. Otherwise, it's gonna eat you alive. Real talk.
Yeah.
Now,
I
me
was
and my
blessed.
dad didn't have the best relationship up until my first son was born. But I went to that man and had that talk before he passed.
Yeah.
My daddy passed of cancer. I watched that man waste away. But I had that talk before he passed, and we were good. You
Right.
better have that talk. I'm telling you, as a black man, even if you did have a relationship with that father, whatever you got to say to that man, whatever you need to say to that man, do it before he passed.
Hmm.
It will make a difference.
It
It will make
does.
a difference with your son and daughters. It will
It
make a
does.
difference with you as a man. Because if you feeling something, if you feeling a way, deal with it. Don't hold it in because it will weigh you down. It will be an albatross. Brothers out there, let's deal with our trauma, deal with our emotions. It's keeping us broke. It's keeping us unhealthy. And it's real. It's not fake. People can't fake bipolar. People can't fake schizophrenia. Just
Mhm.
like you can't fake your pain because you know you feel it. It ain't nothing weak. It ain't nothing soft because once you deal with it, you stronger. Trust me.
Mhm. I love those words, man. Um, how can people? I know we talked about the Facebook. Is there any other ways that people can get a hold of you?
Go to our website, which is metaassociation.org, METTA association.org. My office number is 214-810-6518. If you don't get me on the line, you can just leave a voicemail or send a text. And also, like I said, on our site, you can find our email, phone ways to donate or support. We are a 501c3 nonprofit.
Mhm.
And also some links to other events and speaking events and just information about our site and nonprofit in general.
All right. Now, if you got any encouraging words to our listeners out there, what would you tell them? Oh, did you freeze up on me?
Yeah, I did for a second.
Oh, no worries. Did you hear what I
I
said?
think I'm good.
Okay. No, I was
No, I
asking,
should
I was asking if you had any encouraging words for the listeners out there, what would you tell them?
be patient with yourself. You making any change in your life, especially a positive one, it's going to take time. You don't go back. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Compare yourself to yourself. Look where you were a week when you start. Look where you were a month ago. Don't judge yourself by anybody else's pace, results, or anything. You are your own competition.
I like that. I like that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. George, man, it was awesome having you on. And anybody out there listening right now, his information will be down at the bottom. And if you guys are following me on Facebook, make sure that you guys are following George as well. He got some amazing things coming up. And for you Black men out there, please, 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 get the help that you need. You're going to feel so much better. Your relationship's going to improve all across the board. And your mindset's going to improve. It's going to help you get out of where you are and get you where you need to be. But first, we got to take the first step, right? You know. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in. George, thank you for being here. And until next time, you guys keep your head up. I love you, and you guys stay blessed and stay well.